Welcome to the ABCs of Performing, where I combine my love of food with my love of my career to give you an inside look at what it means to be a performer in New York City. I've got to find a shorter way to say that. My name is Nicole, and I am a dancer, singer, actress, model in New York City. My resume includes performances with modern dance companies, cruise ships, regional theater, commercials, TV, film, music videos, and the like. Enough about me, and on to why you're here. Today's topic is all about belief. Just believe in yourself. How many times has somebody told you, if you don't believe in yourself, then no one else will? While I don't entirely agree with that, there have definitely been times in my life where other people believed in me a lot more than I did. I do, however, agree that you should be the first person to believe in your own dreams. Belief is a difficult thing to hang on to, especially when you run into rejection. This industry has a way of taking the most optimistic people and breaking down their hope into a more realistic viewpoint. It is so easy to get excited about a new goal or a new dream or a new desire, but when you break it down and you begin working towards those goals, that's when the doubt starts to creep in. So how do you convince yourself when society has told you you're too old, you're too young, you're too thick, you're too small, you're too whatever? How do you keep the faith when you run into closed doors? I have no doubt that you actually want to believe in yourself, but it's not as simple as somebody telling you to just believe in yourself, or is it? Just believe in yourself. Well, if that didn't work for you, I'm going to share with you 3 tools that help me hang on to my belief when the doubt starts to creep in. Affirmations, visualization, and celebration. Number 1, affirmations. I'm pretty sure you've heard this one before. Many people also refer to it as manifestation or speaking things into existence. Simply put, affirmations give a consistent voice to your dreams. We all have an inner monologue that goes on daily, and it ranges from our to-do list to conversations we had to our childhood trauma. Many of those thoughts that play in our head on repeat aren't the least bit useful for us. It's an explosion of all the negative what-ifs and the mean things that we've heard from bullies, from teachers, parents even. It's no wonder we struggle to maintain belief in ourselves in that minefield. Sometimes a daily positive boost is all I need to instill confidence and to keep me running for my goals. Positive affirmations can come in the form of 2 ways. You have outside voices and your personal voice. Surrounding yourself with outside voices that encourage you is super helpful. That could look like listening to music that inspires you. I like to keep an encouraging playlist on my phone. Mine is titled You Can't Stop Me by one of the songs on it by Andy Mineo. You want to put together a playlist of songs that inspire you, songs that make you feel like you're powerful, like you can conquer the world. Other outside voices can include family, friends, your community, anybody who speaks life into you and encourages you and will not let you settle. People who can remind you who you are and where you come from and what you've accomplished so far. People who can encourage you in your faith and remind you that even though you may have these other voices in your head, these mean negative experiences from people in the past, that none of that matters. What matters is what God says of you, that you are beautiful, you are unique, you are wonderfully made. There is a plan for your life, and that plan is to prosper you and not to harm you. It's to give you hope and a future. We have to be mindful of the people that we allow in our circle and the people that we allow to speak into our lives as well. One of my favorite quotes is never take advice from someone that you would not switch places with. People always want to tell you what to do with your life. Realistically, if you look at their lives and their life doesn't look like a reflection of what it is that you want for yours, then that may not be advice you want to take. That doesn't mean we can't learn anything from them, but I always suggest surrounding yourself with people who are actually speaking life into you and who are living and pursuing the kind of life that you want to live. Then there is your personal voice. As cheesy as it may sound, looking yourself in the eye and verbalizing your goals in the present tense is empowering. I won't dig into the science of it all, but your brain believes exactly what you tell it. Therefore, it makes sense to tell your brain what you want your life to look like. Tell your brain who you want to be, what you hope to accomplish, and watch how your mindset shifts. It will become easier to back up that verbiage with action when your mind is actually on board. It's actually something that I learned as a Mary Kay consultant. All of the top directors and national sales directors would introduce themselves not just with their accolades, but with statements of their current goals and words of affirmation that spoke to their character, or at least to who they were striving to be. I remember riding home on the plane one summer from seminar and just writing down all of the things that I wanted to see for myself and the person that I wanted to become. I sort of wrote out a little mantra. I'm gonna go with mantra. A statement of who I am, who I hope to be, and the power that I hold within myself. I like to repeat that to myself whenever I feel like crap, whenever I'm in a very intimidating situation, when I walk into an audition, any moment of doubt that I may have, or whenever I feel like insecurity is slipping in, I speak against those words and I actually verbalize to myself what it is that I know is actually true versus what it is that I'm feeling in the moment. It even works in the middle of a really tough workout. You will be surprised at how many push-ups you can actually get out of your body when you start telling yourself how powerful you are. Many of us need that daily reassurance, and we can't always rely on the outside voices to get it. This is especially necessary when you find yourself in unsafe spaces. I always say that if you do find yourself in an unsafe space, to find a way to escape, but sometimes we're forced to take class with an instructor who doesn't have faith in your potential. Or we grew up in a home where our parents constantly voice their fears by speaking against your dreams. In those cases, that confidence has to come from within yourself, and you cannot rely on those outside voices. So that's where that personal voice comes in. It has to come from yourself first. The outside voices should be an added bonus, not our sole source of empowerment. My muffins. Where was I? 2 is visualization. Visual reminders of your goals will keep you in the game. Mary Kay Ash always said that if you haven't looked at your goal in 3 days, you no longer have a goal. So think about it. When was the last time that you actively looked at on paper what it is that you are working towards? Put up quotes and photos and checklists, anything that's going to keep you motivated and remind you of what it is that you're working towards and why. You want to set up those reminders on your bathroom mirror, in your car, on your wall, at your desk, wherever it is that you spend the most time. That is where you want those visuals to be. This is also one of the reasons why I like to sort of commemorate each experience or each win with a little gift or reminder. This is the very first award that I ever won in regards to dance. I played sports growing up, so I had plenty of softball trophies and cheerleading trophies and swimming, but this was the first time that I was recognized as a dancer. And that is something that I hang on to just as a reminder of where I started and that joy and that passion that I had, that fire when I first began. Sometimes we get wrapped up in the business side of it all and we can sort of fall away from the why. If you don't know why you're working towards something, you're gonna lose steam, you're gonna put it off, you're gonna procrastinate. But when you have a burning desire and you hang on to that why, it is very difficult to just let it go and say, oh, whatever, I guess I'll try something else because that was too hard. Your why will always be stronger than your excuses and your lack of belief. Your visuals can also come in the form of things that you wear. I have a ring, not this one, but I have another ring that says I am enough. I make sure I wear that to every audition that I step into. So when I get into my head and I start feeling that insecurity or that doubt, when I look around and I see like, oh, that person can like whack their legs so much higher than me, or that person sounds 10 times better than I can. And whenever you get into that weird comparison mode that we should never enter because we are not in the same competition, all of us are in our own categories. And so when you start trying to compare your weaknesses to somebody else's strength, you will never win. I love to wear that ring because it's just a small reminder that I am enough, that who I am and what I have to bring to the table is more than enough. It's just a matter of whether or not it's what the casting director is looking for today. And last but not least, and certainly not the only other option in the world to help instill confidence and belief in yourself, is number 3, celebration. I often struggle with imposter syndrome, this idea that I am not good enough or not talented enough or don't have enough qualifications to be where it is that I am and to continue to fight for the goals that I have. And that is certainly not true. And one of the things that helps to remind me that that is not true is celebrating my wins, looking back at my resume and looking back at the things that I've accomplished, looking at those visual reminders and being reminded of what it is that you've already done up until this point. You may not be where you want to be, but you certainly are not where you started. And that can be a super encouraging thought whenever you're on the struggle bus. I'm certainly not saying that you should settle in your accomplishments and make them out to be bigger than they are, but it is okay to take a second to sit back and look at all the things that you've actually done. You don't have to wait until you accomplish the overarching goal in order to celebrate the little wins along the way. Push yourself, but also give yourself some grace. I think of celebrating as just having fun, playing and engaging in your craft in a way that isn't necessarily business or work related as well. I think I mentioned that in my last video too, but I think that is super imperative that we just play. One of my favorite books actually is The Artist's Way. She does a really good job of breaking down how to unblock our inner artist. And I think everyone is an artist, whether you consider yourself one or not, and whether or not you do it for a career or just a hobby. There is a creative part in all of us. And I think it's important that we continue to tap into that, especially if you do this as a career. It's important to go back to those spaces and just allow yourself to have fun without really needing to choreograph anything, without having to record it, without pressures of any kind. I think we've bought into this lie that just because we're adults that we no longer get to play. And I don't agree with that, and I don't think that's true at all. I think the way we play looks a little bit different sometimes. Maybe it shouldn't. Maybe we should actually go back to where we started and engage in those activities just to get our creative juices going and to keep ourselves filled with joy and encouraged and reminded that life is fun and beautiful. Yes, we need our business brain and we need to make money, we need to pay our bills, we need to do all the things that we are as adults are responsible for, but we cannot let go of those spaces that actually got us to where it is that we are. I believe that if we can just get our minds on board with the plans of our heart, that we can accomplish the impossible. But it all starts in your mind. It all starts with the belief. You have to have confidence in yourself, and doing these 3 things, engaging in positive affirmations and keeping visualizations in front of your face of your goals and your why, and taking time to celebrate and to enjoy life helps keep you encouraged as well, and keeps your psyche in a clear space and in a more confident, positive place that allows you to continue to push and fight for your dreams. That's about all I have to say. I still have not figured out how to end these things. I just want to give a huge shout out to Romina and Baking with Mocha for sponsoring the food for today. Banana chocolate chip muffins. They are so good. She cooks with all natural ingredients, only ingredients that you can pronounce. I will make sure to drop her Instagram and TikTok as well as her Etsy down below. Feel free to follow her, shout her out, give her some love, and support. Everything she makes is so good. Clean my desk. Welcome to New York. It's been waiting for you. What am I talking about? Ouch. I definitely burned myself. Welcome to the ABCs of Porming. Family, friends, oh my goodness, family. You know, I sound like a hippie flower child. Three. I feel like it should be easier in this hand because I played violin. Does anybody else get Dolores vibes here? Every time I catch myself in the mirror, I'm like, shh, shh.